Hello guys. This is going to be our final Grammarly clone video. So in this video we are going to connect our frontend with our backend and we are going to complete our app. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. First of all, we need to add two dependencies. So the first one is our HTTP and the second one is provider. We are going to use provider as our state management. So inside our pubspec.yaml, press Control Shift and P and select pubspec assist. And first let's add HTTP. Okay, we got HTTP here. Now let's add provider. Okay, we got our HTTP and provider here. Now let's save the file and wait for the pubget command to finish running. Okay, now it's all set. Now let's start connecting our backend with our front end. We have already deployed our backend into data. So if you didn't watch those our previous videos, go and watch it, then only this makes any sense to you. Okay, now we need to create two text edit controllers. So let's do that. text text editing controller. Now let's say user input text controller equals text editing controller, user input text controller. Okay, now we need one more, and that will be our result text controller. Now change this to result text or whatever you it's up to you to name the variables. And now inside our text fields, let's set the for our second text field, let's set the controller to our result text controller. Okay, now we need to create three files. One is our model and second one is our notifier, our notifier class, and third one is our API. Third one contains our API functionalities to fetch data from our backend. Okay, first of all, let's create the model file. I'm just naming it model dart. Oh, sorry, that became a folder. No problem. Let's rename it. Model dart. We only need to fetch the result from our API. We know our API. Let's confirm it. Now let's test our API. Okay, as you can see, we only need the result. Okay, I will go to call tomorrow. The corrected text is the result. Okay, we are only displaying the result now. If you want, you can there is corrections array, you can add something from that also. It's up to you. Okay, now the model, we need to create our model for the app. That means our result text. Okay, first of all, let's create that class app model. I'm just naming it app model, and let's give a string. Let's give it a result itself. Result, and we need a constructor for it. Model this dot result. Okay, 1 minute. Let's remove this curly braces. Okay, We have created our symbol model. Now let's create our API. I'm just naming it API.dart. Okay, now let's create our class. I'm just naming it class something like backend. Okay, just name it backend, and inside the backend we need to create our app model. So let's do that. App model. We need to add the late keyword. We are not going to initialize it now. We are going to initialize it in the future. So add the late keyword. After that, create a future function for fetching our data. Future, it's going to be typed app model, so it will return the app model. Okay, and let's name it get data. We need our context and the text that the user provide inside the parameters. So let's give that. We need the context and the string text. Okay, after that we need to import the HTTP. So now let's do that. We can import the HTTP here. Import HTTP http.datas HTTP. Okay, and inside the function, first of all let's give our URL string. I mean the endpoint const string URL equals our API URL. That means our this URL. It will be different for you. I mean this part will be different, and the path will be what the name you have given. Now let's copy that and give it here. Okay, and next we need to create the final URI. So final URI equals URI dot parse our URL plus our text. Okay, now we can get the response. Okay, final http dot response equals await http dot get and our URI. Sorry, I forget to add the async. Let's add the async. Okay, now let's print the URI here for reference. After that, let's create a try catch block here. Catch. Okay, if an error occur, let's print the error and return app model equals app model, and let's say the text will be something like something went wrong. Okay, now inside our catch block, now say if our response code will be 200, we need to print the result. Okay, so response dot status code equals 200. We can say our data will be final data equals response dot body and we need to pass the data now. Okay, now the final parsed data equals JSON dot decode our data, and from the parsed data we can get the result. So now let's get that string result equals parsed data result. Okay, now let's return the result. Return model equals app model and our result. Okay, that's all. Now inside the equals great else and do return the same error here. You can change the message, what you can give whatever message you want. Avoid, just ignore this. Now our API class and API function is ready. Okay, now let's create our notifier. Now save this and create our notifier file. Okay, let's create that. I'm just calling it notifier itself, or you can call provider or whatever you want. Notifier.dart. Okay, now inside the notifier let's create a class notifier and extends our change notifier. Okay, now create the instance of our our app model, sorry, our backend equals backend, and create our app model instance, like app model. Okay, now let's create a function. Let's name it fetch data, and we need our context and string here also. Context and string text. Now let's give our async here, and we need to initialize our app model. App model is equals await backend dot get data, and then give our context and text here. Okay, that's all. Now we need to give the notify listener here. Okay, now we have ready to go and show the data to the front end. Now let's go to our main.dart file to do that. Okay, first of all we need to add our provider, so let's do that. First of all we need to wrap this material app with multi providers. We are not using multiple providers, but it's better that way. In case if we need any updates or to add any more functionalities, we will be needing more providers. So I'm using now my multi provider, and inside multi provider we need providers. Okay, inside our providers we need to give our uh, provider here. So first of all we need to add change notifier provider, and inside this we will give our provider. That's our notifier. Okay, now let's give that here, the notifier, and create new context and our notifier. Okay, something is not right here. Now let's remove that. I don't know what happened, but something. Okay, one column is missing. No, that's not a problem. Fully remove that. Okay, we need to give a comma here, and okay, we need to give our colon here. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, now we can create the change notifier. Change notifier provider, and context here, and a fat arrow to our notifier. Let's see the type of notifier here. Notifier is our provider class's name. Okay, now we have done that. Now let's create our provider dot of context inside here. Okay, let's name it data or something like that. I'm just naming it final data equals provider, not that, we need provider dot of context, and this provider will be a type of notifier, and let's set our listen to false. Listen to false. Okay, that's all. And inside our first text field, can say on changed text. Let's set that to a string variable. So let's create another string named user text here. String user text. Okay, now we can, let's make it an empty text. Okay, now inside here on text changer we can say user text equals text. Okay, and on the material button on procedure we can give an async here, sync, and we can await data dot fetch data and provide our user text here, user text. After that, for our result for showing our result, we need to set the result controller text to our data app model text. That means our app models text. If you want, you can create a getter here, but I'm not doing that now for the simplicity. You can say result controller dot text equals data dot app model dot result. Okay, now let's try running our app. Save it, and now let's restart our app. Okay, now let's try it. Let's say I love coding and correct it. Okay, our app is perfectly working, showing the corrected text here. I love coding. Okay, it's perfect. So actually we don't need this first text controller, we only need the one on text controller. Since we are using the on changer function, we don't need that. Okay, now our app is perfectly working. We can try one more time. Let's try I will went to college tomorrow. There is grammar mistake and spelling mistake. Now let's try it. Okay, I will go to college tomorrow. Okay, our app is perfectly working. So when we press, there is a delay and our app is showing nothing there. So let's give a snack bar on that delay. So to give a snack bar, now we'll go to our API.dart, and inside there we can give a snack bar. Okay, now first of all let's give a snack bar here before the response. Okay, let's give it here. We can say scaffold manager, scaffold manager, scaffold manager. Sorry, it's not scaffold manager, it's called scaffold messenger dot of context. We are giving our context here, so that's not a problem. And we can say show snack bar and provide the snack bar here, snack bar, and we can provide the content in a text widget. And we can say gingering your text, since we are using the gingerit library. Okay, that's all. Okay, and when the result is visible to the screen, we need to close the snack bar. For that, we can do the same inside our if response code is in the if block. Okay, we can just do the same. We need our scaffold out of messenger dot context and paste it here, and dot we can clear the snack bar or hide the snack bar. Okay, now we can say hide current snack bar. Okay, now let's try running our app. Let's reload it. Okay, now let's try this. I love cooking. Okay, okay, now it's showing gingering your text snack bar here, and when the result is shown, the snack bar gone. Now it's a decent user interface. We have a decent user interface, so we have completely built our Grammarly clone. So you can give your own changes and updates into this app. You can make changes in your API or your backend, and you can give much more better user interface or other functionalities to this app. Okay guys, now we have successfully built our Grammarly clone and it's perfectly working. So make sure you are subscribed to our channel for more contents like this. So in future we are going to build much more premium contents like this, like with custom backend apps. Okay, so make sure you are subscribed and make sure you like the video. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, make sure you comment it in the comment section. Okay then guys, see you in the next video.